for me.
So let's recap. How is the fire department instrumental during hurricane season? They are a primary provider of medical services. They remove debris, extinguish fires, and work with local law enforcement, medical providers, and other agencies to develop transportation routes, share information, arrange shelter, and much more.
So, Jamaica, I really hope that you guys enjoyed our feature here today on the Jamaica Fire Brigade. So this was CVM's Watch the Weather. Make sure that you tune in for more exciting and insightful experiences here with us. I'm Leopold.
I'm Michaela.
See us for more.
Small business owners and independent contractors get affordable insurance with Sagicor Pro Shield. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Coming up in CVM News at 7. Man shot dead in vicinity of Porus Market. A Chief Justice's take on Emancipendence holiday recommendations. And Justice of the Peace calls for respect for restorative justice progress. We also have our Sunday premiere of Inspire Jamaica. While in sports, Woodney's women race to win over Scotland in World Cup action.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition. It's Sunday, October 6, 2024. I'm Ronaldo Adams. A man was shot dead in the vicinity of the Porus Market in Manchester last night. This is the latest in a spate of violent crimes in the last couple months in the parish. Jonathan Atkins tells us more.
A man was fatally shot on Saturday evening near the Porus Market in Manchester. The victim has been identified by relatives as 29-year-old Christopher Manning, also known as Bulby. According to preliminary reports, Manning was at a meat shop across from the market just before 9 p.m. when gunmen approached and opened fire, hitting him multiple times. The sister of the deceased is shocked at the murder of her brother, who she describes as a positive person.
All of us are heartbroken at the time, at the moment, and I am speechless right now because I wouldn't have imagined this would have happened to my brother or any close relative. And to the amount of gunshots that he got, I'm wondering why would somebody do that to him? Because I've never heard of him or anybody in anything, like any war or having any conflict or anything like that. He's always a jovial person, riding his bike and stuff.
She expressed her concern over the recent flare-up in violence in the parish of Manchester.
Yes, I'm concerned because I'm wondering why are they killing each other, especially young people, and it's mostly males. So I am worried right now because it's my brother, so I'm worried and wondering if it's any war I'm having with anybody or anything, and if they might come back to do reprisal or whatever.
The latest shooting occurred just meters from where another violent incident took place a few days earlier, in which a man was shot in the mouth. Mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, visited the scene of the shooting and expressed his concern to the news center about the upsurge of violence that has gripped Manchester.
To me, because just yesterday we had the shooting of 7 persons in the town of Mandeville, 2 fatally and 5 others were injured. And now tonight again we have another one dead, lying on the side of the road there. So the parish of Manchester is really up against the wiles of the devil. But let us just pray that whatever is happening here, that sanity will prevail, and that the family members, I know what sort of mourning or what sort of feeling they have had, because it doesn't matter who would have died for you, you must have that feeling that the person is somebody that is close to you. And so I want to extend my condolences again to the family.
Local authorities are continuing their investigations into the incident. Jonathan Atkins for CVM News.
Chief Justice Brian Sykes is lending his voice to the debate about an extended Emancipendence holiday weekend. Speaking at a church service at the William Knibb Memorial Baptist Church to mark the opening of the Michaelmas term of the Circuit Court, the head of the country's judiciary says that the celebration of freedom should not carry a price tag.
August 1, 1834, at least for me, is not just about increased domestic travel of 8.9%, an indication of greater engagement with national tradition. It is not solely about an organized weekend-long celebration that could attract tourists to participate in cultural events, concerts, and festivals, thereby boosting revenue across various sectors. I would have thought that the emancipation of enslaved persons of African descent, which was, in our case, the antecedent to independence, would warrant more analysis than to be described as a mere 5 days, encapsulating, I put in that word, Jamaica's journey from abolition of slavery to the achievement of self-governance. It is not just about recognizing these public holidays that play a crucial role in celebrating national identity, preserving cultural heritage, and providing well-deserved rest for our workforce. And so too we should keep in mind May 10, 1845, when persons from India landed on our shores, and also 1854, 472 Chinese came to Jamaica from Panama. All of those are very specific dates that we should not lose sight of in the name of productivity.
Cleon Porter, a justice of the peace in St. Catherine, has issued a call for caution, urging politicians to be mindful of comments about citizens who have engaged with the justice system. It comes on the heels of animated public debate surrounding the selection of candidates ahead of the pending general election.
As an advocate for justice reform and a supporter of the Restorative Justice Program, I am urging all Jamaican parliamentarians and influential persons in society to exercise caution when making public statements regarding citizens who have had encounters with the law. Whether these individuals have served their time, paid their fines, won an appeal, or had their cases dismissed by the appeal court or the Privy Council, they should not be subjected to continued disparagement or stigmatization. Recent remarks by some members of Parliament and other influential figures have unfairly labeled and demeaned persons who have gone through the justice system. These comments undermine the spirit of our justice reforms and threaten to undo the hard-earned progress we have made as a nation.
The Justice of the Peace points to Section 5A, subsection 1 of the Restorative Justice Act 2016, which states that the purpose of restorative justice is for the healing of victims, offenders, and the community. Furthermore, subsection 2D emphasizes the reintegration of offenders into society by supporting the rebuilding of broken relationships.
This principle is at the core of our efforts to create a just, rehabilitative, and inclusive society. The Restorative Justice Act, along with the associated policy and program, has brought considerable benefits to the justice system. The Minister of Justice, Honorable Delroy Chuck, KC MP, has been a stalwart champion of the Restorative Justice Program and its benefits. His work alongside the broader efforts of the Justice Reform Program must not be undermined by reckless rhetoric or political expediency.
While attempts to address Jamaica's struggles with math passes are currently being explored, some stakeholders still have reservations about where priorities should be placed. Joel Crosskill has that story.
as policymakers and educators seek solutions to the recurring decimal of poor maths performance among Jamaican students. President of the Jamaica Association of Principals and Vice Principals, JAPS, Linvern Wright, has shared his perspectives on the latest suggestions to remedy the problem of increasing the hours of study for the subject.
What I had hoped to hear is that we have an influx of mathematics teachers to complement the shortage that we have now, or to complement even the numbers we have. Because there's none of us who would deny that students need more time on tasks, that they need more time to practice. But what I had hoped was that the minister or the permanent secretary had a proposal that said that we have some teachers who want to increase the number of hours in a school, and we're going to give each school a teacher. So about 200 high schools would expect, 200 new teachers to help us to increase the number of hours for the students. But it's an impractical suggestion. It is not properly thought out. And it has not been properly thought out, because if it were properly thought out, then you would know that you would have to have some teachers to do that.
The JAPS president said that if the intention is to increase the hours of study using only the existing cohort of teachers, it's likely to cause additional complications.
The truth is that some of our best people are not going into mathematics, and I keep on saying it. I say it to my colleagues, not even teachers. If their child is getting a 1 in mathematics, want that child to go and teach mathematics, because when you get a 1 in mathematics, you want to go into things like engineering that you're going to be making some money from. Where the permanent secretary and the Minister of Education needs to be taking things from is ensuring that there is something that incentivizes the best to come into teaching mathematics and teaching science and teaching those subjects that they figure are short. That is what we need to be talking about. As that we also have to ensure that people who are strong in mathematics are teaching at the primary level too, right? So it's not just high school level, because we have a shortage of quality. And once we have a shortage of quality, we are going to continue to have this issue.
Interestingly, MP for Central Kingston Donovan Williams, while distributing tablets contributed by the Universal Service Fund to students at Holy Trinity High School recently, shared what strategy is being taken in his constituency to remedy the shortage of teachers at the PEP level.
Now we realize that we have a challenge in relation to math, and so we have come up with a plan to help our PEP students prepare, and so we will be embarking upon a PEP math program, preparation program in the constituency, and we are calling upon teachers in the constituency. We have a lot of volunteers, we have competent teachers, and some of the past students of these schools still residing in the community, and we will be calling upon these talent to assist us in helping our PEP students prepare for the math component of the PEP, because we recognize that that is a challenge. And of course, this will supplement the schools. We have a lot of schools in Central Kingston. We have over a dozen schools in Central Kingston, ranging from high schools, primary schools. And so this is the education capital of Kingston. And so we will be seeking to prepare our PEP students from our perspective for success.
Joel Crossgill, CVM News.
Stay with us. More to come after the break.
Me, I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of it. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out. Call 888 Justice today.
My heart goes crazy when you take the extra time. Let's explore our love. We'll leave the world behind. Can you feel this beat?
September 7 to December 14 on CVM TV.
Schoolboy Football, brought to you by Edgechem, AIM Financial Services, Texaco, and Connix.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Back. The Faculty of Science and Technology at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, acquired cutting-edge equipment that will allow researchers in Jamaica and the Caribbean to, quote, see atoms, unquote, with X-rays. Our reporter, Trisha Kelly, reports that this is a huge win for the university, locally and regionally.
Thursday, October 3 marks the launch of the Faculty of Science and Technology's Caribbean Regional X-ray Science Toward Advancement Laboratory Crystal with the acquisition of a Bruker D8 Quest Eco Single Crystal X-ray diffractometer. The lab will facilitate the development of materials for applications such as sensors and pharmaceuticals in the mining, construction, agriculture, energy, and food industries. Speaking at the launch, lead scientist from the Department of Chemistry in the faculty and founder of Crystal, Dr. Marvadine Singh Wilmot, said the facility is a hub for X-ray techniques and was established as an education, research, and service center for Jamaica and the region. Singh Wilmot lauded the project, pointing out that it's one of a kind.
Only single crystal X-ray diffractometer in the English-speaking Caribbean. About to revolutionize material science and the STEM landscape in Jamaica and the region. Shall we give this machine a round?
As Dr. Singh Wilmot indicated, the realization of Crystal came through partnership for the goals, as national, regional, and international contributors came together to make Crystal happen. Dean of the Faculty of Science, Professor Michael Taylor, highlighted the importance of these partnerships.
It's about catching a vision for a hub for regional science. And it's about the investment that you have to make. You really have to be deliberate and intentional. Otherwise, having the vision is not enough. But it symbolizes partnerships. Partnerships solidified.
Deputy Principal of the UWI Mona campus, Dr. Tomlin Paul, was also present, expressing gratitude for the project.
We are very, very grateful for your work and the partnership that has ensued, that has brought it to this light. This kind of work and the work that will come from this machine here is what university is about, and in terms of bringing this science to our students, I hear Prof stresses it's about teaching, it's about research, and it's about service.
The project featured multiple collaborators. Dr. Singh Wilmot's main collaborator in the establishment of Crystal, Professor Michele Zima from Light Sources for Africa, the Americas, Asia, the Middle East, and the Pacific, LAAAMP, also visited the campus.
Things don't happen by themselves. You need passion, you need dedication. And this is what has happened here. To achieve this and to start this new life for the department, for the campus, for the region, and have access to research opportunities, to education and training.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Human resources in the health sector are stretched thin. But as countries grapple with the increased need for healthcare professionals, stakeholders from across the Americas came together during the 61st PAHO Directing Council in search of solutions. Joel Crosskill provides that report.
The establishment of an international recruiting unit to engage healthcare professionals amidst growing demand was considered during the 61st PAHO Directing Council, which concluded on October 4 in Washington, D.C. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton, who led the Jamaican delegation, continued his call for reform in the management of human resources in the health sector.
The reality is we can't train health workers fast enough for them not to be recruited or for them to migrate normally to the United States, but to Canada and the UK. This is because there's a global shortage. So we have been saying in these halls that more needs to be done around collaboration, and that collaboration must address the bottlenecks, which includes things like clinical rotation, space, and faculty.
The final report on the Plan of Action of Human Resources for Universal Access to Health and Universal Health Coverage 2018-2023, presented to the Council, included Jamaica's own efforts towards the establishment of an international recruiting unit to engage healthcare professionals.
What we're coming out of these discussions with are the possibilities of MOUs being signed between countries to coordinate around training. As you know, we're building out a lot of infrastructure in Jamaica, hospitals and health centers. We're adding more services to these facilities, and what that means is that we need more people. And one of the big risks that we face is that we won't have the people to man these facilities when we're completed.
In addition to bilateral arrangements with countries like the Philippines, Nigeria and India, the development of a 5-year policy and action plan in conjunction with PAHO, projected for finalization this financial year, are also being sought. Dr. Tufton highlights the need for creative and collaborative solutions to ensure Jamaica's and the United States' own ability to meet the healthcare needs of their populace, championing a flexible contract arrangement that would allow for temporary, freelance and seasonal working arrangements as another potentially viable solution.
We can't stop the mobility of labor, but we can certainly coordinate to expand what is available. And as you know, we have been advocating for the possibility of a flexi contract to provide persons going back and forth to at least fill some of the voids that we have.
Joel Crosskill, CVM News.
Stay with us. More to come from News at 7 after the break.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back. It's now time for regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Haiti's government has deployed special police units after a gang attack on a small town on Thursday. More than 70 people, including children, were killed in that attack. The killings are the latest sign of a worsening conflict in Haiti, where armed gangs control most of the capital and are expanding to nearby regions. We hear more from Al Jazeera.
Fleeing violence has become a daily challenge for millions of people in Haiti as gangs try to extend their control across the country. At least 70 people were killed in the town of Pont-Sondé in central Haiti by a gang known as Grand Cri, known for its cruel attacks on civilians.
The gangs arrived and killed people. There were a lot of victims.
The gang members reportedly set fire to at least 45 houses and 34 vehicles, forcing residents to flee their homes.
We have control of the situation at the moment. However, I caution people of the possibility of another attack. The police are in place, and they told me they are ready to respond to another attack.
Since the killing of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse in 2021, Haiti has been in chaos, with gangs controlling over 80% of Haiti's capital. The United Nations has deployed an initial 400 men from Kenya as part of a multinational security control mission to assist the Haitian police. But for now, the MSS, as the mission is known, is underfunded and outgunned.
In Barbados, the Ministry of Education has outlined several new measures to address ongoing violence in schools. Minister Kay McConney says the plans involve partnering with other government entities. She says it will take a whole-of-country approach to deal with the ongoing issue. CBC News Barbados has the details.
What we call a healing program to support grieving students and teachers alike. We recognize that grief is a big thing in the school system. Some have seen their loved ones hurt, killed, and it's not easy then to pick up and come to school and have to deal with all the other things they have to deal with in life. And therefore, this healing program is really meant to help us support our students and teachers through that grieving process. The ministry has conducted security audits of schools, and a draft national school security and safety policy has been prepared, and it is now being finalized thanks to the support of a wide-ranging coalition of partners.
A St. James pastor and his wife excitedly welcomed a child 2 years into their marriage, a son they called Josiah, meaning God supports and heals. Their little star is now 3 years old, and his life so far confirms he was perfectly named. It's time for Inspire Jamaica with Curlin Brown.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
I'm going to touch the stars.
Touch the star, baby.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I just wonder what you are. Look me up. Woo!
For the dignity of the glow, the sparkling light he spotted is perhaps difficult to others looking on to understand. But for his parents, Lionel and Sasha Gay Lowen, it's like a decode to the freedom they all enjoy together now, since the day they were told their only child, Josiah, has cancer.
Wilms tumor is a form of cancer found in children, which affects mainly the kidneys.
Cancer is no respecter of persons, right? We are all at risk for this disease. And the best option that's open to all of us is early detection.
Based on the silencing effect worldwide, such frankness is often communicated to increase awareness and reduce the cultural myths and the taboos surrounding the disease. Now, even though it was Mrs. Lowen who translated awareness into prompt action, the emotional blow was hard-hitting.
I don't know if I can actually say what the reaction is. I think it's way more than just detrimental. It was really, really hard to even take in or to think about, It was like not real or not happening.
When she felt a hardness in his tummy, of course, I took it as nothing. I did not feel it was anything serious. But she, having experience around children, her nieces and nephews, she was adamant that something was definitely wrong because a baby's tummy should not feel this way.
Off to the local pediatrician they went, and after an ultrasound and a CT scan, they journeyed to Kingston to the Bustamante Hospital for Children.
That consultation did not turn out how we expected because he was admitted immediately because of how high his blood pressure was after they checked his vitals. Josiah would have been in and out of the hospital for quite a few months because the team at Bustamante had picked up that this was a serious case.
What followed were months in hospital and chemotherapy for the couple's 1-year-old.
That was a very scary part of the journey because they would have explained to us the dangers and the rigors of chemotherapy. However, we had no choice. Josiah tolerated the chemo quite well, maybe not as was expected. He was still able to move around. He was still pretty active. As a matter of fact, we were able to take him home, and we would take him in when it's time for treatments. It affected him in a sense that sometimes, as you know, with chemotherapy, the immune system automatically becomes compromised. And so there are times when Josiah would have had infections and would have had to be admitted in the hospital for antibiotics and for other treatments. And so that would have affected him in that way. It also affected him in such a way that he would have lost a whole lot of weight, literally came down to skin and bones. He went back to wearing newborn diaper.
At one point, the little warrior became bedridden. So what could have happened?